everyone, and my name is Vivek. I have with me my partner in crime, Legokid. This is a very special video because today we're going to interview the man,
the myth,
the legend,
Max AV, Warmrise's solo developer of the studio NS Design Games.
We all have a special place in our heart for Warmrise, and it is the reason we are here today. I would like to thank Max for all the work you've done on this game and for putting time aside for this interview.
Well, I very much appreciate the kind words, and I'm happy to be here.
So I hope you're doing well and hope you're ready for this interview.
Some community members have this view of you as this mysterious figure. Who is Max?
I'm just a regular guy who happens to have a passion for game development.
So what's the story about game development, and how did you learn how to make a game?
I became interested in game development before I even knew what it was. As a kid, I was an avid gamer, and I always had this question in the back of my mind. How are games made? So fast forward to 2010, I was 17 at the time. I stumbled upon a small game engine called Unity 3D. Back then it was fairly new, and it didn't have as many features as it has now. It brought back my question about how games were made, and I had a tool that would allow me to make my own game. But I quickly discovered that making a game is not as simple as it looks, and it wasn't helping that my programming knowledge was fairly basic. The next couple of years was me just starting a new project, running into obstacles due to limiting skills, and ultimately abandoning it. In 2011, I discovered a browser game called Begone. I liked the fact that it was made in Unity, showing its capabilities, and I also liked the fact that it ran directly in the browser. At that time, I still treated game development as a hobby, and I didn't really think I could do it seriously, because my knowledge was still pretty limited. Fast forward again, Begone released a new Defuse the Bomb mode, and I noticed that the planting spot lacked a bomb model. So one day I was playing with Bunny, a guy who was helping Proton and Demage, who were the owners of Begone, with development, and asked if they needed a bomb model, and if I could make one. I don't think I even waited for a reply. They would probably say no anyway, so I ended up making a model in a couple of days and showed it off to them. They liked it, and they went ahead with adding it to the game, which was the first valuable lesson I learned. Action always beats intention. Later, I made a map for Begone, which was named Timbertown, and finally went on to working with them on the Begone map editor. Proton and Demage had big plans for the game, but it all went downhill. The project was cancelled. All updates have stopped. To this day, I still don't know the reason. Anyway, even though I was out of that job, it taught me another valuable lesson. Done is better than perfect. With a new mindset, I went back to my unfinished game and decided to flip it. It was a first-person shooter, which I then called FPS Kit 2.0. It was available on the Asset Store during 2012 to 2013. To this day, actually, a lot of browser games are still using it. Pixel Gun, which is a WebGL game, not a mobile game with the same name. Combat 3, Combat Strike, etc., they all use it. Visit any online gaming site, and there's a 30 to 50% chance that any first-person shooter game there will be based on FPS Kit 2. After releasing FPS Kit 2, I finally felt like I was ready to make my own game. And for the first time, I finally had the funds to make it happen, to cover hosting, a domain, software licensing, etc. Also, this time, I made a promise to myself that no matter what, I will finish this game, and I will not give up. All I can say is getting the game off the ground was challenging, but I'm glad I stuck with it. The rest is history.
Very interesting. Well, we're glad you stuck to that promise. How did you meet the people that helped you do it, program the game and all?
There were two groups of people to be exact, who influenced me greatly on the path to game development. One group I mentioned in the previous answer, Proton and Demage, especially Proton. I learned a lot from him, and I'll forever be grateful for the opportunity he gave me. Another group of people is Tornado Twins. They were far before Proton and Demage. It was when I was just learning game development. Their beginner tutorials on YouTube helped me a lot during the initial stages of learning.
A question we hear a lot is, how did you come up with the name Warmrise, and what does it mean?
When I was picking a name for the game, I wanted it to be original. In fact, I wanted it to be so original that I searched every name idea on Google until I found one that had no search results, which was Warmrise. Since the idea for the game was about war, I combined three words, war, me, and rise, which means a war that is on the rise, and me, the player, being stuck in between it.
Does Warmrise have, a story or a lore or something like that?
All I can say is that red and blue are not at war. It's merely a preparation for an upcoming war. Against who? Well, that's the question.
What do you do aside from Warmrise?
I am a web developer, so I also make websites.
The last new map that you added was Dustland. Are there any plans to add another official map or official maps to the game?
Yes, a new official map is coming very soon.
Have you got any plans regarding Warmrise's future?
Currently, I'm waiting for multi-threading to be added to WebGL, which in turn will improve performance. After that, I'll begin incorporating ideas that I had planned way back in the Unity web player days.
What was your favorite game as a child?
It's hard to pick just one, so I'll just list my all-time favorites. Apocalypse and Hogs of War, both for the PlayStation 1, Halo 2 for the Xbox, Wolfenstein, Enemy Territory for the PC.
What games do you think influenced the creation of Warmrise?
The obvious answer would be Halo, but that's not actually the case. The game originally started as a modern first-person shooter, mainly inspired by Call of Duty 4, which I played heavily at the time. Then it kind of evolved in the futuristic direction as I began implementing ideas inspired by different games that I played along the years.
Why a futuristic setting, and not a past or a modern one?
With a futuristic theme, there's a lot of freedom to explore with different features and weapons, unlike past or modern shooters where players expect it to be a certain way.
What games do you play currently?
Currently, the only time I play is when I'm working on the update and need to test it. As soon as I release the update, I might play it for a little bit, but then I'm off again, planning on working on the next update.
There are lots of posts on Warmrise forums that deal with improving the game. So how do you deal with criticism?
I don't mind criticism, especially a constructive one. I also rarely respond to it, but if I agree with the stated points, then I'm sure to take the necessary steps to improve whatever is being criticized.
Now, I know you usually stay behind the scenes and you don't poke your head out into the community much, but what do you think of the community?
As always, I pretty much appreciate anyone who took the time to play the game or supported the community in any way.
As me and Lego are commentators for the Warmrise tournament, do you watch the tournament? And if so, what are your opinions that we should or we could do better?
Yeah, I do sometimes, and every time I try to take notes on what can be improved in the game to make it more enjoyable to watch. Changes such as player HP and third-person spectating have been added specifically for this reason. Many more changes are on the way, such as improved netcode, slight UI redesign, etc. Having a game that not only plays well but also attracts spectators is always a plus.
Well, that was a fantastic interview. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thanks, and good luck with everything.
Well, that was the interview. I'll see you guys next time.